What'd you think it was going to be, people? There's over 300 miles of streets in the city of Wheeling, and I got a story about almost every one of them. Now, these are my stories and my recollections. Some of them might be a little fuzzy because I am old. So let's shake your memories a little bit, and remember, it's all about having fun, damn it. Here we are at the beautiful Wheeling Heritage Port. Years ago, this used to be one of the only parking garages in the city called the Wharf. I remember coming down one time on the 4th of July with my folks to see the fireworks. The guy drove a car right out into the river. I thought, man, that's pretty damn cool. Then I realized it was an AMPA car. Of course, I was from Fulton, I didn't know what the hell that was. Later on, I was working at the garage. So one night, me and the police filled the back seat of a police car up with water balloons. Come down, drove to the top floor of the parking garage. They called in and said there was a man lurking by the river. 2 or 3 other cruisers pulled in. For backup, we bombarded them with the water balloons from the top floor. Back then, police used to have a sense of humor. Now we're up here on Main Street, Marsh Wheeling Stogie Building. World famous stogies in movies, different things. I think they closed around 2001. In all my days in Wheeling, I never knew anyone that worked there, or knew anyone that knew anyone that worked there. Plus, I never seen anyone enter or leave the building. When I was in high school, I worked part-time here at the Wheeling Inn. I was a CPA here, Certified Parking Attendant. If you ever rode by late at night and thought the building was on fire, nah, it was just us in the basement parking garage doing burnouts in customers' cars. One time here at 10th and Main, a police car was coming one way, the ambulance was coming the other. Both had lights and sirens on. They hit at the intersection so hard, the ambulance ended up at the front doors of the Capitol Theater. The police car was almost at 10th and Market. No one was in. In Wheeling, if you need a hooker, just give us a call. And as we head on down Main Street a little further, there used to be a place down here called the ETC. It's kind of a fancy steakhouse. One time I was working at the gas station making a little money. I brought a date down here on a Friday night. Because back then us kids used to have to work. Went inside, they took us in, put us in this big fancy booth. The waitress come over and asked me if I wanted my steak butterfly. I had no idea what the hell that meant. So I told her sure. She brought it back. It looked like a regular steak to me. Anyway, I spent about 30 bucks that night. As we get down Main to 12th Street here, Bing's Furniture used to sit on the corner. From what I understand, they had some really smoking hot deals before they closed. Over across the street was the Club Tower. It was a strip bar. I never went there myself. I was usually in the library studying. One time here at 14th and Market Street, a couple cars, as a matter of fact, it was a pickup truck and a car collided. The pickup truck flew so high in the air it knocked the traffic light off the pole. One of Wheeling's theaters is left in town here. When all the theaters were open in town, you weren't allowed to park in front of the theaters. We would tow tons and tons of cars when people used to go to movies downtown. On the corner here used to be Tom McCann's, one of my favorite stores in town. That's where I learned to haggle on a price. My old buddy Jack, who ran the place, always gave me a couple bucks off, made me feel good. And up the street here a little farther used to be LS Good. Used to have to go in and see that damn creepy Christmas tree. One time I was walking by and the Christmas tree said, "Hi, Donnie." To this day, I still don't know who the hell was inside that thing. The health plan has the lot now where LS Good used to be. That city council a few years back really did some things, brought Wheeling out of the darkness. Here we are in City Plaza, the Wheeling Market Plaza. A few years back, that same city council remodeled it. It's really nice right now. It's a lot of action. Across the street used to be a place called Kidding's. They sold everything from kites to car tires. It was a super cool store. Over here used to be the fountain. People used to sneak down here at night and throw liquid soap in the fountain, and it would bubble for 2 or 3 days. But there was no harm. Plus, it looked really cool with the lights on. And at both ends of the plaza, we have meat. We had Papa's Beef House, and we had Louie's Hot Dog, if you want to call Louie's Hot Dog meat. Well, here we are at the corner of 11th and Chapman Street, in front of the 4th Street United Methodist Church. Also kind of weird, don't you think? Here we are at the former Lincoln School, which I'm sure was named after a famous president that freed the slaves. Now it's the detention center. Kind of weird, don't you think? Right here on Chapman Street, between 11th and 12th Street, used to be a liquor store. I think it was by the old La Florist. Anyway, it took me a while to figure out why all these people were lined up in front of the liquor store the first of the month. Then I realized what welfare really meant. Right here we have the former Court Theater. I remember coming down here with my folks to see Fool's Parade. We come down in a cab, all duffed in like the park downtown. I think maybe he was afraid of getting towed, if you know what I mean. Now they park cars inside the theater. All right, here we are on O Street. Yep, O Street. I don't know who the hell named it that. But anyway, if you're not from Wheeling, it's called Eoff Street. So as we drive up Eoff Street, O Street, on your right-hand side, who remembers Old Ford's Grocery? And we also have the Catholic High School. And of course, the funeral home. Hey, Gene. And good old Padden's Pharmacy. Alright, we're rolling up here on 15th Street. This used to be one of the worst drug areas. Had the most dilapidated buildings, rodent-infested buildings in the city. That same city council tore down all the dilapidated buildings and built a brand new sports complex. No more drugs, just a nice sports complex for the kids and adults to have fun. One time I was sitting here at the red light in front of the old Ohio Valley Battery. Had an old Chevy wagon on the back. I look in the mirror and there comes this guy running a bike. He keeps getting closer and closer. All of a sudden, boom. I get out of the wrecker. He's laying up on the back of the car. Poor guy, poor bike. Right over here used to be old Nemo's Sunoco, where Jack would shake your hand and it hurt like hell for about a week. On the right over here used to be Weldy Buick, where every customer walked in the door was 60 years old. Over here was the old Chevrolet dealership, King Chevrolet. When I was in high school, I used to wash cars there. As an adult, I come back and was a sales manager there for Chevrolet. As we get up here on the corner, used to be the old Arrow Cafe. You sell canned baked beans. I'll never forget that. And on the right up here by the Salvation Army used to be Kennedy's Fish Market. One time when I was working, I pulled over here waiting for my boss to give me a call. A black man walks up and taps on the window. Said, "You got a couple minutes?" I said, "Sure." So I was in my cowboy stays back then. I had myself a white cowboy hat and a flannel shirt on. I walked back down the street with him, realized we're in front of Brown and Williams Funeral Home. They serve most of the blacks in the community. So I walk up the steps and realize there's no pallbearers. So there's me and 4 women and 1 funeral employee. Carries a casket down and puts it in a hearse. Here I am helping these folks with a white cowboy hat and a flannel shirt on. And of course about 50 of my friends rode by that morning. As we go around the corner here, we got Neely's Groceries. Best chicken in town if you haven't had any. Down here on the empty corner used to be Zanki's. I don't care what time of day you walked in, there was guys playing cards in the back room. Up on the corner here, Ziegenfelder's. They sell popsicles to every state in the union. Used to be McKinley High School, used to sit there. Used to have to leave early to race in to get a parking place so we could win the Ants Club 18 and have a couple beers before class. Ziegenfelder's bought the old McKinley High School. I went to McKinley, there was a trade school. Wheeling High School, Warwood High School in Philadelphia used to come there and learn the trades. The only trade I ever learned was trading cars. All the popsicles are stored in both these warehouses right now. Good job, Lisa. So we get down the end of the street down here is the old Wheeling Wholesale Grocery, which is now a community college. Well, folks, I think we're going to put a little lid on this story. End up here on 19th Street in front of the old Wheeling closure. They used to make lids for anything from Jif peanut butter to Avon. As you can see, they're tearing the building down. Of course, they've been tearing down 1 brick at a time for the last 10 years. If you like this episode of the Streets of Wheeling from the eyes of a hooker, let us know. Maybe we'll come to your neighborhood.